G'day and welcome to your Wednesday footy feed. We begin with the very latest on Giants co-captain Phil Davis, who suffered a significant kidney injury in his side's win over the Swans on Saturday, despite playing out the match. Doctors have spent the past 3 days treating bleeding from his kidney. As we go to air, Davis remains in intensive care at a Sydney hospital. The club says he'll stay there for at least the next 24 hours, but he's actually facing another week in hospital recovering. His health is the focus right now, and there is no time frame on when he could return to play. Now, the Adelaide Crows have been taking full advantage of James Podsiadly's inside knowledge ahead of tomorrow night's clash with Geelong. Coach BRENTON Sanderson obviously has a Cats connection too, but he says J-Pod has been very helpful.
We've certainly leaned on Podsy a fair bit in the last couple of weeks just to make sure there's nothing that we haven't missed. But he's been great, you know. It's probably a little bit of pressure on him too, you know, playing against his former club.
As Podsiadly returns to Simonds Stadium, his former teammate Tom LONERGAN looks likely to get the match-up.
I look forward to the contest. He's a great player for Geelong over so many years, and I respect him highly. He's obviously pretty strong sort of fella and moves really well, and he'll be pretty keen to prove to Adelaide, you know, show his worth, I suppose.
The team news for that game to come through early this evening. Well, it's the question a lot of you have been asking. Why is there no footy at the MCG in the first couple of weeks of the season? Well, the answer is because of a long-standing contract state cricket has with the stadium. Today, the Victorian Premier admitted the government is going to have to get involved to help sort it out.
I certainly would like to see the MCG made available earlier in the season for blockbuster openings to the round one of the AFL.
But from footy's perspective, the problem will get worse before it gets better because of next year's Cricket World Cup. It's emerged AFL Chief Executive Andrew Demetrioù gave his personal green light to James Hird's interview with the Bombers' in-house produced TV show.
They contacted me about 2.5, 3 weeks ago and said would it be okay to do that interview, and I advised Paul Little, and then of course our people advised the Chief Operating Officer that there was no issue about breaching the agreement. He conducted a pretty straight and down interview that appeared on the Hanger last night, and we saw no issue with it.
Hird is now overseas on a study trip. Richmond players have taken no offence to Damien Hardwick's public naming and shaming after Saturday night's loss to the Gold Coast. In an unusual move these days, the coach named names in his post-match news conference, singling out Jack Riewoldt, Tyrone Vickery, Brandon Allison, Reece Conker.
It's more so just a friendly fire, which, as I said, we're old enough and we should take it on board and use that as a motivation to move forward.
The Tigers are bracing for a tough main training session later this week before meeting Carlton at the MCG to open round 2. The Hawks know they have a target on their backs as they begin their premiership defence, and while they're not worried about the weight of expectation, they know complacency is not an option.
We know teams are going to come out and have a crack at us this year, and everyone's going to be out for us each week, so we're going to have to be right on our game every week.
Burgoyne expecting a much stronger Brisbane lineup to the one they faced in the NAB Challenge. And news from the Lions, AFL.com.au's Nick Bowen reporting Vice-Captain Tom Rockcliffe has agreed to terms with the club. The new deal will see the 24-year-old stick with Brisbane until at least the end of 2017. Collingwood is likely to be boosted by a couple of key inclusions for the round 2 clash with Sydney. Ben Reid trades strongly today, having overcome a calf injury, while Jesse White appears to have put a leg injury behind him. Meantime, the Swans are still reeling from their loss to the Giants.
Our contested ball in the last quarter was -19, so we know that's a stat that wins games, and I guess that was probably the turning point. They got their enthusiasm up, and we didn't go with them.
Kieran Jack should return from a back injury to take on the Pies. And the AFL and Victorian government have launched a partnership to promote diversity in schools. The One Team, One Goal Celebrating Diversity program includes a poster competition for school kids ahead of multicultural round later in the season. And that is all for your Wednesday footy feed. I'm Matt Thompson. Have a great night.